Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our podcast today. These podcasts are brought to you in part by our sponsors, who really truly are what make these podcasts possible every week. O'Fallon Nutrition is a company that I've worked with for over 15 years. They're independently owned and operated, located here in O'Fallon, Missouri, right off of Highway K and Mexico Road. I call this place the Whole Foods of St. Charles County, but even if you are not located on this side of the river, it is still worth the drive. I can remember working all the way down at Powerhouse and still sending people out to O'Fallon Nutrition for their supplements. They are more than a supplement company. You can get grass-fed beef, salad dressing, seasoning for your cooking, hair care products, makeup, deodorant, toothpaste, essential oils, and all the vitamins and minerals that you can think of. If you're looking for clean, whole food nutrition, as well as home care, house care, skincare products, O'Fallon Nutrition is your place. You can take a look at them at o'fallonnutrition.com, or if you'd like to have something shipped, if you're listening to me from outside of St. Louis, you can certainly have items shipped. I know they do free shipping if it's an order over $50, and the phone number is 636-240-5283. Again, it's o'fallonnutrition.com. As well as if preparing your food on a weekly basis is your primary excuse for why you're not able to stay on a good, clean eating program, which is something that I hear very regularly from my clients, I would ask you to please take the time to check out Pure Plates. It's pureplatesstl.com. They are a phenomenal place. We get our food from there during the week. They deliver to our Integrity location. They will deliver to your house. They also are just available for pickup. You can go to their Chesterfield location or their Kirkwood location and just pick up meals for the day, as well as just having them delivered right to your door. So if preparing your food is your main excuse for why you cannot stay on a healthy eating program, then I would suggest just stop by Pure Plates. Just try it. If you're trying to lower your blood pressure, you're trying to lower your cholesterol, you're trying to get your blood sugar down, try to do Pure Plates meals for a week and just see how different you feel. These are organic meals. They are gluten-free. If you need them to be, they can be dairy-free. They are soy-free. You're not taking any processed sugars or meat-curing agents or preservatives. They really, truly believe in nutrient-dense meals that are just whole food nutrition. And I've had my clients, or I've made recommendations for my clients for years at Pure Plates. It's pureplatesstl.com, or you can call them to ask questions at 636-778-3555. Again, remembering that they have a location in Chesterfield as well as in Kirkwood that you can just run by and pick up a meal today. Everyone always asks me where I get my meat from, and given that I really eat meat on a daily basis, typically beef primarily, my meat is very important to me. I have an autoimmune condition and I want grain-free, corn-free meat, and I just haven't found the confidence in stores in knowing that I'm getting 100% grass-fed, grass-finished beef. And I have searched and searched and searched for the right farm, and I have found the farm. It's fedfromthefarm.com, fed, F-E-D, from thefarm.com. These farmers are amazing. It's a family. They're here in Missouri, and they have the desire, just like I do, to see people well and to see people healthy, and they put a lot into what they do. It's such a wonderful family to support. They do offer 100% grass-finished, grass-fed, meaning that's it. A beef, and I get my ribeyes, I get my ground beef, my ground sirloin, I get my chuck roast. I mean, they basically have everything. They even have awesome jerky, but they also have eggs, they have chickens, and they have turkey. I'm planning on getting a turkey for Thanksgiving, and if you'd like lamb, they have that as well. But if you are in need of good quality grass-fed, grass-finished beef, or quality eggs, chicken, turkey, don't just settle for what you're getting at the local store. to go out on the internet and check out Fed from the Farm. That you can arrange a pickup or you can have it delivered to your home. And I can guarantee you're going to taste the difference. For me, my health actually depends on it. So I really thank God to have found such a great farmer. Fedfromthefarm.com. I hope it blesses you.
Welcome to Faith, Fuel, and Fitness, the Integrity Way, with your hosts, John and Debbie Morris from Integrity Training Systems.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. We always like to start our show off by talking to you about what it means to be a warrior. So if you're new with us here, I'll give you the definition of a warrior. And a warrior is a brave and or experienced soldier or fighter. And so what I want you to think about is you might not be a soldier, but you're probably a fighter. And a fighter is anyone that's ever had to go through anything in their life. And you may not be brave, but you're probably experienced because you've done something. So if you're experienced and you've had to fight through life, then you get to consider yourself a warrior. And why is this important? This is important because if you're not used to being a warrior in life, then when things get thrown at you, it's really easy to just give up and try to exit the arena of whatever it is that you're dealing with at that time. And that's really no way to live. And unfortunately, I find that a lot of our society does walk around like that, and they walk around just defeated regularly. And there's never one specific thing that's, potentially holding them down. It's always just that, well, now this has come up, and now this has come up, and now this has come up, and it's always compounding, and I never get ahead, one step forward, two steps back kind of mentality. And I think if you just take a step back and actually think about what you've overcome in life and how at some point in time you have dealt with the most difficult thing you've ever had to deal with, you can start to acknowledge that you're going to be able to push through what you're dealing with at this time as well. And we've been listening to Ed Milet a lot lately, and Ed talks about, getting just being a little bit better, and so I hate the terminology baby steps. I don't think you should take baby steps because, if you think about a baby doesn't take baby steps very long. They're trying to run. So you really need to be trying to do the same thing. But sometimes there's wedging that has to occur. That's different. And what I mean by wedging is working something small in to overcome what it is you're trying to overcome. So maybe you find you don't have enough time in your day, but you're sleeping 9 hours a day. And you're like, okay, John, I get it. You sleep 5 hours, 4 hours a day. I can't do that. Well, you know what? I didn't used to be able to do that either. So maybe you get up 15 minutes earlier. Can you just set your alarm 15 minutes earlier? Maybe you don't even do anything in that 15-minute window. You just get up. And then after you've done that for a couple weeks, set it 15 minutes earlier than that. Now you're up 30 minutes early. Now maybe you program something in that you needed 30 minutes to do. And if it's that you feel perpetually behind, or you can't get ahead with work, or your laundry's never done, those types of things can be very, very overwhelming to you and to your life. So this would be a way to start to try to work towards that. So it sounds silly to think I have to be a warrior to do that, but having a warrior's mentality of overcoming sincerely makes a difference in just getting through everyday life. And I want to talk a little bit about a client that I have, speaking of warrioring, and he is a young guy. He's actually getting ready to go become a soldier, which is pretty cool. And when he first came to me, he's been with me for almost 4 years. So he was either 14 and a half, 15 years old when he first started coming. His grandmother brought him to me. And she was kind of just besides herself. She was like, he's got these bad friends, he's around, weed. He's around, these people that are kind of like wanting to drop out of school. They're kind of burning out, they're around alcohol. And I just don't know what to do. He's kind of resistant. He's got a hard upbringing. He's got a situation where his dad actually overdosed and passed away when he was young. And then, his mom was kind of incapable of taking care of him. So his grandma actually took him on and raised him. And he's just had a lot come at him in his life. So he came to me, and initially, the warrioring was that his grandma stuck up for him. He had a grandma in the trenches with him, a partner in war, and he eventually decided to be his own warrior. And what I mean by that is when he came in, he was kind of head down, He wasn't real quick to talk, a little bit shy, just did what I told him to do with exercise. He went through a period of even being kind of like he had a shoulder injury that he accrued. I believe it was skateboarding, something like that. And so we had to work around that, and that got him a little down. And ultimately what ended up happening is he just had this mindset shift, this mindset click. And he decided to hammer into school. He got his diploma. He got a job. He made management. And then, he got his driver's license, got all that going for him. And ultimately, he got really into his health, really into his fitness, started taking that really serious, started going to church with his grandma, really kind of turned his life around, hung up the marijuana, got away from those friends. And now he's getting ready to go into the Army. He's supposed to go down for basic training, I believe, in the end of January. So why am I telling you the story of him? Well, he decided to be a warrior because he's been through a thing or two. Even though he was young, he kind of had some stuff happen in his life. And he just decided, you know what? Like, I want more out of life than I'm currently getting. And how am I going to do that? And he just tackled it. He just put himself in a position where he said, this isn't enough anymore, and I'm going to go find something I want to do.
And there were not friends that were in support of this. I mean, he had to pull away from the crowd. He had to isolate himself. I helped him with his nutrition. I know this young man. He's just an inspiring young man. I couldn't be happier for him and more proud of him, to be honest with you. The whole family has been blessed by our business, and we just feel honored to have even helped them. But he really had to be a warrior. I mean, it took a lot of courage to keep doing what he was doing, to eat the right foods, to get away from the drugs, to get away from the drink, the pot, all the stuff, just everything, and just continue down that path. And when we talk about the word baby steps and why we don't like it, is because to me it just feels like a lack of commitment. It feels like someone is saying, I'm not quite prepared to be fully disciplined towards what you're suggesting. So I'm only willing to be partially disciplined. So I'm going to take a baby step. And I like the way you referenced that, John, where it's like, no, I'm gonna, sometimes I have to have a wedge, or sometimes I have to actually just take this in bits, like I can do 15 minutes of this. Maybe I can't wake up 2 hours early yet, but I can do 15 minutes of that. And I can keep building that and building that and building that until it becomes something. And with this young man, that's exactly what we did. We took the sugar out first. Then we took, the drinks, the energy drinks, the Red Bulls, the things like that. And we just started going down the list, and it made the difference. And then we, John started with a certain type of exercise, and then we brought another day on, and we built strength in them. We built cardio in them, but all of it was building this pattern of commitment and discipline that makes me proud to know that this kid is going to be fighting for our country one day. That's exactly the type of soldiering that we need. He has been able to build basically what line is he going in? The Army?
Army.
What the Army is going to teach those young kids for those first 6 months.
Right.
I mean, he learned it. I mean, I'm not touting our horn or anything. I'm just saying he's going to be ahead of them.
He is.
Because he learned it.
We've even been training
I'm not
him
talking
for
exercise. I'm talking mental preparedness.
We've been training him physically and mentally for
yes.
preparing him, and it's not to say that it's going to be easy.
No.
But what it is going to be is it's going to be something that he knows he can take on.
His brain is
instead
ready
of being
for
like
it.
every single moment that he's there in that intense training thinking, I want to give up, he's going to think at the end of 6 months this is done.
Right.
Because he's already been conditioned to just do it.
You have taught him how to talk to himself. You have taught him how to get himself geared for the day. I mean, that was so much more than a personal trainer had to do. It was so much more than a nutrition coach had to do. But we truly honored and respected him and the situation he was in, and we met him where he was at, but we basically held very, very high standards for him. I mean, and we held him accountable for those standards, and we would not discount them. We basically were like, hey, this is the way you need to be. Toughen it up mentally, toughen it up physically. And we kept on him with it. And I just think you have to have the courage to do that in your own life with yourself. You've got to find somebody, if you can't do it on your own, that can support you in that. And you have to have the courage to do that with your kids. Hold them accountable for greatness, because if you don't do it, they are going to get connected with these other friends and these other groups and the drugs and the alcohol and everything. You are the warrior as a parent because you are staying committed. That grandma is the warrior. I mean, she is 100% the warrior because she fought for him and she made it. It was difficult, but she got him in there. And he's saved because of it. God bless her and God bless him. Thank the Lord for it. For more information on what we do at Integrity Training Systems, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com or give us a call at 636-299-2208. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to your door from my personal bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com.
Welcome back, everybody. This is John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. Just got done talking to you about what it means to be a warrior. And now I want to talk a little bit about warrioring through your holidays. So you just survived Thanksgiving, okay? So now we have Christmas that we have to look forward to. But did you survive? I had a client that actually came in today, and he was a little lethargic. Now I'll give him that it was 5 a.m., but he was like, yeah, so yesterday... And anytime it starts like that, it's really good. He got off into the carbs, got into the starches, had some pies, and he just felt it. He's been coming in now with me. I think we've trained 20 times. So he's trained twice a week, so about 10 weeks, something like that. And he's done really well. He's come a long way, but he was like, I can feel it. This workout is weaker, like I'm exhausted. My muscles kind of hurt, and so it's like, what are you doing? Okay, so like you had the Thanksgiving dinner. You felt that, okay? Like the leftovers. If you have leftover turkey or you have leftover like really just turkey, throw the rest away. Like,
unless you cooked our Thanksgiving.
Unless you cooked our Thanksgiving things. Just think about it like that. I know it's wasteful, but is what you're going to consume good for your body? If it's not, like maybe consider don't having it or get rid of the rest today. Like eat it on your day after Thanksgiving, something like that. Don't blow this whole weekend. It's Saturday now, so like if you're in a position where it's like you had Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then you're going to eat Sunday, like are you into Monday? Are you going to go ahead and just take that through December until Christmas? Like, this is what we're trying to help you to avoid because, I hate when people say they dislike New Year's resolutionists, especially in the gym. I really think that is a phenomenal thing. And I think that if the gym community would do a better job of like welcoming and assisting these people as they come in, you would see higher levels of success. But what I will tell you is why wait until January? Because you could get a jump start on that and be ahead of the game right now. And one simple way to do that is start thinking about what you're going to do for Christmas. What are you going to eat? How are you preparing for it? How are you dealing with stress right now? Because eating a bunch of garbage isn't going to help with that.
Something I always suggest, and maybe it's not for everybody, but consider a dinner-to-dinner fast after, it doesn't have to be the very next day after Thanksgiving or the very next day after Christmas or the very next day after New Year's, but, maybe a couple days after. So let's say, Thanksgiving's on a Thursday. Maybe you do it the following Monday. I think this year Christmas is on a Tuesday or Wednesday. Maybe you do it the following Saturday or something like that. But a dinner-to-dinner fast would be, I'm going to eat dinner on Sunday night, and I'm not going to eat again until Monday night. Now, I'm going to drink water. You can have black coffee. You could have plain tea. You can't add any creamers or anything like that to it. I take mineralized sea salt, and I eat a pinch of it when I first wake up, and then I have another pinch around 11 o'clock, have another pinch around 3 o'clock, so I'm kind of keeping my minerals coming into my body, but I'm not breaking the fast. That dinner-to-dinner fast really resets your blood sugar patterns because you kind of threw them off the day before with all the different foods, and now you're waking up the next day, and the brain has gotten into a really weird balance, and your blood sugar has gotten into a weird balance. And that fasting it's like a whiteboard. It basically just erases everything that had become the pattern the day before and allows you to reset and create a new pattern. And then what it also does is it flips the autophagy switch, which is self-eating. And it is the most effective form of detox, autophagy, self-eating. It means that the body is basically roto-rootering, or I think of it as like one of those little vacuums, the Roombas, that just starts moving around. I think of it like a Roomba inside your body, and it's just eating away at those old, ugly, dead cells, ugly, gross protein molecules that just need to be destroyed from your body so they don't create disease. And fasting can do that. It really heals you. So something to consider if you kind of blew it, on one of the holidays, then just do a dinner-to-dinner fast. It doesn't fix everything, no, but it could reset things so that the off meal that you had on Thanksgiving doesn't turn into an off month. By all means, don't feel bad for having your off meal. If you're okay with it, then we're okay with it. But maybe set something up to where you're able to clear it and then get yourself right back into a good pattern of healthy eating, because you don't want this to carry you for an entire month.
Right. I mean, when I have we had white potatoes. I don't eat white potatoes all the time. It's got a high glycemic index, converts to sugar. Now, I made sure my protein and my fat around that was good, but I'm not going to do that every day. I'm not going to feel guilty about that. Like, we made a salad, and I had a dressing that Deb actually made for me that was like a Caesar dressing, and she made it with clean ingredients. And then I had dairy-free cheese, similar to what you would get on like a Caesar salad. That's, again, not something I'm going to eat regularly. Yeah, it's dairy-free, but it's not necessarily the best for you either. So I'm not going to feel bad about what I'm consuming, but I'm also going to be smart. Like, I'm not going to consume the crumb top apple pie that I want and be hammered into a bunch of fake sugars and gluten and all of these other chemicals that, who knows what's in it. Now, if you're making it on your own, okay, that's a different story, but still, what are those ingredients going to have an effect in your body? And if you don't know how to eat, like you don't know how to prepare your food, Deb's actually been doing these presentations. She actually just did a presentation at a church for Thanksgiving, and she's actually doing another one for Christmas, and it's Sunday, December 8th. Goes from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., and you can register on the Faith Chapel website, or you can go to our Facebook and you can see how to get on there. But she's going to spend 2 hours talking to you about how to replace meals. So the whole concept is, like, for Thanksgiving, we talked about how to make a healthy stuffing, how to make a healthy dessert. It's like these things that you can have, and she made them, and you got to taste them, and you got to see, like, holy cow, I actually can do this healthily, and I don't feel like I'm eating cardboard. So if you can't figure out what you're supposed to do, that's actually why we exist. Our job is to teach you that. I can tell you how to work out. Deb can tell you to not eat junk food. But at the end of the day, if we don't guide you and train you, that's not going to be sustainable. So if you need help, that's what we're here for.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's Sunday, December the 8th. It's at Faith Chapel in O'Fallon. They have an amazing cafe. It's a really pretty environment. Just right there off of Highway 40, right near Winghaven, and it's a great opportunity to learn. We're going to make some baked apples with some cinnamon walnuts on top. We're going to make some cinnamon whipped cream to go on top of that. We're going to make some special oatmeal cookies. None of the ingredients are toxic, nothing that we need to be concerned about. And then we're going to replace the green bean casserole with something even healthier. There's a lot of really good options of things that we're going to come up with just to give you some good replacements. For more information on our 6-month nutrition program or working with one of our personal trainers at Integrity, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com or give us a call at 636-299-2208. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to your door from my personal bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com.
Welcome back, everybody. John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. We just got done talking about getting through Thanksgiving and preparing for Christmas. So I want to talk a little bit, Deb, you actually made a Facebook post about this recently, on snacks. I find that a lot of times one thing that people really falter on their food with is going into eating hungry, and then they eat with their eyes, not with their brain. Mm-hmm. And so if you can get yourself to actually use your brain and think about preparation, how am I going to eat today? How am I going to avoid having to stop somewhere and having to get something that's not okay for me? Talk to us a little bit about snacks. Like, if you're going to have a snack, what is better to have, a fat or carbs?
I personally like with my clients to bridge the gap, between meals, which is what I consider a snack.
Yes.
Typically, I will have a person fast until around 9 o'clock. Now, not everybody does that. There are some people that are up at 3:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, and, they can't make it until 9 o'clock. They need to have something before then. And so I always set them up with something. But if we're eating around 9 o'clock, then we don't really need a mid-morning snack. We can go right to lunch. But that mid-afternoon snack is going to be premium. It's going to be so important. If you're skipping the mid-afternoon snack and you are trying to go from noon until 6 without eating anything, you are going to be hungry at 8 p.m. because of the gap that you created between noon and 6. It doesn't matter how great your dinner is. It doesn't matter if you have all the vegetables in the world and all the ingredients that you need to have. That big gap that you created in the afternoon is going to come back to haunt you at around 8 or 9 p.m. and you're going to need something else to eat. If we can bridge the gap between noon and 6 with a snack around 3 o'clock, it's really going to help you to coast through. Now, here's the problem with some snacks. If I just grab an apple and I run out the door, I'm going to build my blood sugar, but I'm not going to do anything to protect that blood sugar from falling right back down again, okay? If I grab a banana, if I grab some crackers, if I grab some chips, any type of carbohydrate, and I don't have anything with it, then I'm going to do a great job of building blood sugar, but I'm going to slam that blood sugar right back down. I'm going to make myself more hungry and more tired from the whole experience. So then I'm going to go into dinner a whole lot hungrier than I should, okay? So what I normally recommend is fat first always, protein second, and then if you want to throw some carbs in with it, throw some carbs in with it. So from a fat perspective for a snack, you could do nuts, you could do seeds like pumpkin seeds, you could do chia seed pudding, you could do coconut milk yogurt. You could do olives. You could do hard-boiled eggs. Those are all, and some type of avocado with vegetables. Those are all good quality fat sources. Now, if you wanted to add some protein to that, I would add some collagen powder. I would add some plant-based protein powder. I would add maybe a Chomps or a New Primal or a Paleo Valley meat stick, whether turkey, chicken, or potentially beef. But you could add one of those any of those items as good protein sources, or just some extra salmon or some extra turkey that you had left over. And then if you would like to add some carbohydrates, then by all means, add some berries, add some fruit to it, add plenty of vegetables to it, but put your fat first, okay? Because that fat is going to be the buffer that is really going to help to sustain you. It does a wonderful job of just bridging the gap. It will extend your energy and protect that blood sugar from falling. Protein does the same exact thing. Carbs do a great job of providing the brain the fuel that it needs and building energy for our brain and our eyes to open wider. But at the end of the day, it's short-lived. So if we're not coupling a good quality fat source and a good quality protein source with those carbohydrates, you're just not going to have the extended energy that I think you're going to be looking for. And like I said, you're definitely going to get hungry after dinner.
Yeah, the grabbing an apple thing is very common, or a lot of times what I hear is grabbing a banana. It's like there's this common misconception that a banana is like the healthiest thing you can grab. And yes, it's a fruit. Yes, it's healthy. Yes, it's better than
a Krispy
Skittles.
Kreme donut.
Yeah,
but,
correct.
Correct. Still sugar.
But you want to think about the fact that it's still sugar. And if you look at fructose and what's expected in a day, the fructose content of a banana is basically what you're told you should take on in one day. And so if you're bringing that in, it's like what other fruit or what other fructose are you potentially having? And if you're finding yourself slamming bananas all day, then there's just going to be a lot of roller coaster ups and downs of blood sugar in that. And you're never really going to feel like you get your energy back. You're just going to kind of feel like you're in a perpetual state of like being awake, falling asleep, being awake, falling asleep. It's really no different than, if you're addicted to caffeine or you do energy drinks and you get that first initial spike and then that drop.
And I think another snack to be on the watch for is bars. Bars are typically made with honey. They're made with oats. They're made with rice. They're made with figs. And they're made with dates. Figs and dates are the highest fructose fruits that you can have. I mean, they're 15 to 20 grams of fructose, like in one serving of figs and dates, which is definitely in a bar. Okay, so you're high fructose. Then you're going to add honey to that, which is even higher fructose. 1 tablespoon of honey is 15 grams of fructose. We could potentially be at 30 grams of fructose just from those two ingredients. That is double your daily allotment of fructose if you're trying to lose weight or if you have high cholesterol. But then they start adding things like chocolate chips, cranberries, just all sorts of things. Bars are kind of like a candy bar, basically. I mean, they're just sort of a glorified candy bar. Yes, they might throw some nuts in there so they can say there's some protein, or maybe they throw some protein powder in there. But at the end of the day, because of the syrup, because of the rice, because of the oatmeal, because of the figs and the dates, you're just having a sugar bomb. So be real, real careful of that. If you're going to have the apple, have some almond butter with it. Have some cashew butter with it. Have some pistachios. Have some walnuts. Have some pecans. Have some almonds and or cashews with it. But don't just have the apple by itself. But I wouldn't do a lot of dried fruit. Now, over the weekend, we took fresh cranberries and we chopped them in half. Rolled them out on a sheet cake pan with some parchment, sprayed them with some coconut oil, and rolled them in stevia. And then we just baked them for 3 hours, basically just forgot about them on a 200-degree oven. And they dried and they got a little bit crunchy. That is a very, very low sugar dried fruit option. You're not adding any sugar. You're not adding any syrup to it. That's an excellent way to add that to your nuts or to your pumpkin seeds and to not end up in a high sugar position.
Right. I mean, for me, what I do is I try to make sure that I don't personally have to snack, because if I can control my eating through my meals, then snacking is less of an option for me, because I do struggle to grab the wrong thing. It's like, it's more of a mental thing for me. It's like, I'm going to go grab something that I shouldn't have because I'm like, oh, well, I just need something in between. What do I want? So I try to make sure that my meals are balanced enough to do that. Now, sometimes that's not feasible. And other times, like we're talking about right now, the holidays are kind of crazy. So, you're out and about, you're shopping. It's like, what are you doing disciplinary wise to prepare yourself? Like, what preparation is going into the beginning of your day? Luckily I have a Debbie. So it's like anywhere we go, there's a cooler or 2 coolers that comes with us, and she's just got us. It was funny. I can't remember what it was not that long ago.
Festival.
We went to something, and yeah, it was Renaissance Festival, and you just didn't bring like what you normally bring for Sophie and I.
Well,
and
Sophie was like, where's my water? And
yeah.
I was like, you didn't bring
She's like,
water?
can I have a water? And
I mean, she has her own water bottle. She's always doing all the things.
That's what it
and
was.
I'm like,
it was water.
I was like, you didn't bring a water bottle? Like, because we were going to be outside all day,
Yeah.
and you were like, well, I mean, you always bring them for us.
Yeah, I was like, but Deb, like you.
And it hit me. I was like,
bring
okay,
it.
you're right. I do.
You-
I'm sorry.
You have
I
enabled
would
us.
literally have an entire cooler full of waters with
You're-
ice,
you're an
so that we're
enabler.
good. Yeah.
you do normally do
Yeah,
that. It's
so
funny. Like
I failed you.
Like this last time we went to Florida, Deb has, we try not to do much from plastic, and, Deb can't drink tap water in Florida. It just makes her sick. So there's one water from plastic that Debbie's actually able to drink. And so we always have to make sure she has enough, but then we're making sure that we have enough. And yeah, our face swells really bad. It's kind of crazy. But we left I think 48 cases of water in Florida. Okay, maybe not that many, but we definitely left some water in Florida because that's how prepared we are. And so, I'm not talking about being wasteful, but what I am talking about, all joking aside, is are you preparing? And it's better to be a little over prepared than under prepared. And the longer you try to get yourself ready to take on your days healthily, the easier it gets. So don't be overwhelmed by this concept of well, what if I waste a bunch of food, or what if I don't have enough? It's just start. Just start, because right now what you're doing is not working. Otherwise you wouldn't be listening to this segment.
When I left the house today, I knew when I was eating.
Right.
If I didn't, I wouldn't have been able to eat. I had a meeting, I had to get ready. We had people at our house early in the morning, so I was busy at our house, right? I had a meeting at 8:30. That meeting was going to end at 10:15. I had to be at the radio show by 10:30, okay? There's no minutes, right? So I have a cooler packed. On the drive here, I was eating egg whites that I mixed with chocolate protein and pumpkin, scrambled it up. It's delicious. It's seriously phenomenal. And I sat and ate it on my drive here, but it's super convenient. It tastes good. It's easy. Now, what am I going to do for the rest of the day? Well, I'm going to drive in to Clayton. I know I'm going to be at Palm. I know I have to get a workout in. I know I have to do some treatments before I go to work. I know what I'm ordering at Palm. I know exactly when I'm ordering it. I know what time I'm going to have to eat. And then guess what? Before I drive back to work, I'm going to sit in their cafe. I've got another serving of those pumpkin egg whites. I'm going to eat that. And you know what? I know exactly what time I'm going to eat it. I'm going to eat it at 4:30. I know exactly when I'm going to do it. Because if I don't, there's no way I could go through the whole entire day without eating. Before I start teaching my class at 6:30, in the back of the gym, I'm going to eat some of my zucchini noodles with the marinara sauce, and I'm going to have a little bit of my rice cauliflower. And when I get home from having done my presentation, I'm going to have my chicken and a coffee with some collagen, and the day's over. I know what I'm eating today. Now, I know that that's pretty meticulous. I know there's a lot of thought into that, but I'm telling you, health takes work. It truly takes work, and that's what works for me. Being that prepared is what keeps me well. And the reason I can help as many people as I help is because I take the time to be that prepared. I have this incredible client she's just amazing. I'm so proud of her. She had some heart issues. She's overcoming. Her heart is improving. Performance on her heart is improving. Even she messaged me, probably one of the most disciplined people I've probably ever met. Even she messaged me today and said, the biggest commitment is the time for the preparation. She said, but it is so worth it because I would never trade going back to the way I used to feel every day of my life, feeling like I had to take a nap every day of my life, feeling like I was just unproductive and foggy and not feeling well. She said, yes, it is a commitment in time to get to the store, to get the food, to get it prepared, get it organized, make sure you have it with you, but it is a commitment that is just so, so worth it. So guys, yes, it may feel daunting, but what's more daunting? Walking around fogged up all the time, walking around with a migraine, getting on a medication for blood pressure or blood sugar? I mean, what is worse? I personally would rather take the time to be prepared. And I think you would too. And if you need help with that, that's what we do. We can give you the shortcuts. For more information on a 6-month nutrition program with myself at Integrity, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com. Or for more information on a free personal fitness assessment with any of our personal trainers, give us a call at 636-299-2208. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to you from my personal bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com.
Welcome back, everybody. John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. I want to kind of shift gears a little bit if you've been listening to us. We talked about snacks, getting through the holidays, but as we approach the end of this year, and like I said, getting a jump start on going into the new year, I just want to ask you a question, and I want you to like actually consider it in your mind and potentially come back around to it when your day ends. And that is, are you getting what you want out of life? Like, are you? And I'm not talking about, I mean, it could be, but I'm not talking about material things. I'm not talking about the Lamborghini you don't have. I'm not talking about the $10 million house you don't have. I mean, if you want to put that on your list, put that on your list. But I'm talking about just in general, like, are you in a happy relationship? Are you in a good relationship with your children? Do you enjoy when you get up and go to work every day? Do you feel good? Are you putting yourself in a position where you're actually getting to enjoy life? Because at some point, it's going to be over. And at some point, you're going to not have another day. That could be tomorrow. That could be 80 years from now, but time flies. And so what are you doing right now to work towards that life you want to see? And what I'm going to ask you is, when was the last time you visited your vision? When you sat down? I mean, some people do vision boards. That's great, but where is your vision board? Is it collecting dust in the top of your closet? Did you do it at one point and you put it away? Have you not given any thought to vision? You just wake up and go to work because that's what you have to do to pay the same bills you've been paying. So I challenge you to like think, not now or not at the beginning of the year, right now, as we, are getting ready to move into December. What do I want out of life? And am I doing what it takes to get that? One thing I know is for Debbie and I, we want to see our business grow. We have a call and purpose on our lives that we feel is given by God to help people be well. And just to bring people's mind and body to such a healthy place that they can receive the spiritual growth that we feel God has for everybody. And listening to Ed Milet again, Deb is a part of this Arete where, we pay a monthly fee, and that gets us access to having a weekly check-in with either Andy Frizilla or Ed Milet. It's alternating week by week. And Ed did a really, really good job of the last one that I listened to with Debbie of explaining that we may never have another presidency that promotes entrepreneurship like the one we're about to go into. So we're about to go into 4 years with a president who is himself an entrepreneur, has himself recovered from bankruptcy, and is looking to implement things to help make you a better business person, be more successful. And he even has some access to people that he's talking about that he's trying to help with entrepreneurship across the nation as well. So for us, that's what he posed. He was like, when is the last time you visited the vision of your company? Like, now's the time to go. And what he said that kind of resonates in my mind is he goes, if you have something that you've been wanting to do for your business for the last 4 years or 8 years or 12 years, or however long it's been, and you don't accomplish it in the next 4, you may never accomplish it. And so that doesn't mean that there won't be another president that's better than the one coming in. That doesn't mean that there won't be someone who is more entrepreneurial mindseted. But what he's saying is it's been unprecedented up to this point and could continue that way. So Debbie and I decided we got to act. Ed Milet's talking about tripling his net worth in the next 4 years. That guy is worth like $800 million. So he's talking about being worth $2.4 billion. That's pretty insane, right? So for us, it's like, when is the last time we actually looked at our vision? Well, we know what our vision is. Yeah, our vision is to have a health center that helps people, right? Like I just told you that. But when is the last time we looked at what we're doing to change where we are? Now, business is a big part of my vision, our vision. So I just challenge you to think about, what is your vision? As a human being, like what do you see and want out of your life?
When I finished 75 Hard. I started what was called the Live Hard program, and there's new tasks on the Live Hard program, but there's actually you continue to repeat the 75 Hard program, and then you go into these new tasks. One of the tasks is visualization. You have to start. Well, you don't have to start your day. At some point of your day, you have to do visualization. Well, I never did this. I guess I don't know what was wrong with me, but I just didn't do this. We had a vision board. We've always talked about vision. Every staff meeting we review our vision. That's how we start the meeting. We review our core values. We review our mission, so that as a team we're all on the same page. But personally, I I spent my first day, and this was a while back. It's been a couple weeks now, kind of just laying there in the bathtub, just broadly going through the home, then broadly going through this building that we would build, and the faces and the people that we would change, and the services that we would be able to offer that would change and turn someone's health around. The cafe that would be next to it, where we'd see people happily eating healthy food, and the bakery next to it. And what's interesting is I guess I'm about 3 weeks into that. I know the color of the walls. I have actually selected the door handles. I know what the baseboards look like. I genuinely, wholeheartedly know the design and the framework of the front desk when you first walk into the building. I know what the back courtyard should look like, where everybody can congregate and have grass and have trees. I know what the land looks like in my mind. If people took the time, and I do appreciate this Live Hard program for that matter, this isn't just about business. This is about, where do you want your body to be? Where do you want your health to be? Where do you want your relationships to be? Where do you want your kids to be? Start visualizing it. Start seeing it for yourself. Start claiming victory over it. Start believing for it, and have an abundance mentality instead of oh my gosh, that's such a big stretch. I don't know if I'll be able to do that. I don't know if my relationship will ever get to that. I don't know if my kids will ever get to that. No, with God, all things are possible. But if you don't see it, that's the thing, is if you don't see it, you'll never get it. You will never get it. And in Andy's message this past week, he said, what you do, they do. What you do, they do. He repeated it 5 times when he was talking about his employees. You want them to come on time, you're not showing up on time. You want them to act a certain way on the floor, you're not acting a certain way on the floor. You want them to dress a certain way, you're not dressing a certain way. I don't know. My thought was, I want my relationship stronger. I better press in strong. I better love hard. I better love strong, because why would I expect to be receiving that kind of love if I'm not giving that kind of love?
Right. That's why you've had to work so hard, because I'm perfect. And so it's like, since I have given you, what are you laughing about?
Okay.
So nobody will work as hard for something that you want as you. Nobody. And so if you think about that from a business perspective, you have to understand that if someone was willing to give you 100%, you're going, all right, guys, 100%. If they were willing to give you 100%, they'd go start their own business. That's why they haven't done it, is because they don't want to give 100%. They don't want to put in the work of having the weight of the company on their shoulders.
Well, they don't want to take the risk that we have to take.
That's what I'm talking about.
Sure.
They don't want the risk.
I think they definitely give 100% of what they've got, but they don't want to take on all that risk.
Right.
And I don't blame them.
Right, because that goes over 100%.
Right,
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
To have that shoulder weight, that is the 100. If you're not holding the shoulder weight, you're not given the same amount. And that's what I'm talking about. So if you expect that out of somebody and you're not giving it yourself, that's not going to work. And it's the same in a relationship. Like Deb just said, if you're expecting your relationship to be better, like if you're unhappy in your marriage, if you're unhappy in your fiancé-ship, or you're dating, you're courting, what can you do to make it better? Well, I already do this. Okay, well, try something else. What else can you do?
Keep trying.
How much better can you make it? How much better can you go forth? Can you quit arguing? Can you do something a little bit different? That's going to be how you make the change. And if at the end of all of that work, something doesn't change, maybe that's not the right situation for you. But I promise you, it's probably that you're not putting in enough.
And I would just say in summary of all of it is, again, I just want to repeat, if you don't see it, if you don't believe it, you will never accomplish it. If fear will overtake accomplishment any time, any day of the week, you have to create the vision for it, and you have to have a mentality of abundance that you believe anything is possible. And it's very clearly stated that way in the Bible. For more information on what we do at Integrity Training Systems with our 6-month nutrition program or personal training, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com or give us a call at 636-299-2208. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to you from my personal bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. For 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com. Thank you so much, and God bless.